done a favor for in the past and now it's payback time. Somebody you've done business with, that can do you a favor now, because that's what the key to getting customers is not trying to make out or sell them a service, but just asking them to do you a favor and use Tisky instead of whichever company they're using at the moment. I'll give you an example. The first person I went to, obviously I registered myself as my own customer, but then I went to my mum. My mum at the time was using BT. She'd never really looked at any other company. And I just said, Mum, I need a favour. The reason why I'm doing this is that I hate the business I'm in. I've started this new business, and I just need a few customers to try a service. Try it for a month, and if you like it, stay with it. And if you don't, you can go back to BT at the time. Well, you know yourself, I hope you do, but all my family are now customers, and they've stayed with me ever since. I know that if my mum was phoned by any other company, she would not go with them. She would stay with me. She doesn't know, how much I benefit from her using Tisky, but I know I've got a loyal customer. So the list is the most important thing. It also gives them ideas and gives them a target to go for. I mentioned in there about the approach I use to get my customers. Your reason why you want somebody to do you a favour is really important, because if you don't give them a reason why, and it's not important to you, they won't understand why it is important to you. So whatever your reason is for doing this business, let that person know. It doesn't matter whether you're doing this business to raise some money to take your kids on holiday to Disney. Whatever it is, tell the person why you're doing it, why you want them to do you a favour, and they will understand why you're asking them. So that is a very important thing. And then you've got to, before you even make a call, you've got to decide what you're going to say. A lot of people rush into this business. I've actually shown this business to people, phoned them back a day or so later, and they've already spoken to people before they've even got started to test the water, which is fatal, because what they've done is said totally the wrong things. So what I try and do with people is give them a kind of general script to use to get a customer. And as I said, one of the most important things is before you ask somebody to do you a favour, to give them and think of a reason why you're doing this business, so they understand why it is important for them.
And I think in today's market, it's quite okay to say, look, I need to make some extra cash.
Absolutely. Be honest with people, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, with the credit crunch, I think it's very easy to say that. So don't be afraid to say it.
Are you there, Elaine? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. So once you've gone through with the person of what they're going to say, how they're going to make the call, some people I'd even do the call for them and have them on a three-way call just so they can listen to what I'm saying. It's a lot easier, obviously, if you're doing the call yourself to people you know. But I have done it on behalf of somebody just so they can see I don't actually sell it to them. I'm just asking them if they could help you out and become a customer. What I also tell them to do is to set aside some quality time to make those calls. And what I mean by quality time is, as an example, if you've got children, when the kids have gone to bed and it's quiet, and you put aside a quiet space, get your list out and focus on doing some work with Tisky, actually getting those customers. The quicker you do that and get your customers is the better, because as you said, Elaine, you actually have to do this once. You can get more customers, obviously, but you don't have to.
Correct.
The other thing is to make sure that you register and take the details of that customer. Don't think that customer is going to go onto your website and register themselves. It will not happen. You've got to get the information you need, whether it's on a sheet in front of you or you actually do it while you're actually online, but you've got to register that customer yourself. Not only that, you'll get familiar with how the system works. So, don't just rely and ask somebody to go to your website and register themselves, because they won't actually do it. They'll never get around to it, because what you've got to realize is it's not really that important to them. It's important to you for them to become your customer, but not to them. The other thing you've got to do is to mention what you're doing to everybody that you meet. Let everybody know. don't be
shy.
Don't be shy and don't mention it to everybody. You've got to tell everybody what you're doing. You might not get some people now, but you will in the future. The other thing to do as well is to use what we've got in marketing materials that we've got. As an example, if you go to your Tiscali site in your back office under marketing tools, there are leaflets and posters that we can use on our training site, nicetraining.co.uk. But there's also some fantastic emails that you can use, which are already put together by Tiscali. All you have to do is to personalize them yourself with the person's name, obviously, and a little bit of detail from yourself. And they are brilliant, especially when you're first starting. Very easy way of letting everybody know what you're doing with your new business. And then another really important thing is once you've got a customer and they've done you the favor, ask them, do they know anybody else that might help you out? I remember doing that with my mum, and she mentioned a friend of hers. And she phoned up this friend and asked her, would she help me out? And she said yes. And when I went round and signed her up, I did exactly the same thing with her. I said, do you happen to know anybody else that you know who would help me out? She said, my sister will become your customer. So she phoned up a sister, and then I had another customer. So just by asking my mum, did she know anybody else, I got 2 more customers. So there's all sorts of ways of gathering customers and looking for customers. And like you said, Elaine, we don't need to do it often, but, what happens is if you just keep mentioning it to people, you'll often find you'll get more customers along the way, whether you try or not.
And they'll approach you. And another little tip I'd like to give you all is that when you've got your customer, look after them. Okay, in the back of my diary, and I have a page a day, I make a note of all my customers and what product they're on. And if I notice that the price drops, I ring them and tell them to go into their account area and to go onto this new product, which they can do. It just sets the year again. So let's say they've been on a product for 6 months and we notice the price goes down and it keeps going down. I ring them and tell them the price has gone down. And if they're pleased with the service, they should go into the account area, okay, register for the new product, i.e. the drop in price, okay, and that will just hold them for another year. But if you look after your customers, because remember, other companies don't do that. BT or even Tiscali do not ring their present customers and say to them, oh, I notice you're on the $19.99 product and it's now $17.99. If you do that, you will get lots of referrals. In fact, from one lady, I have had now a total of 30 referrals just from that one lady because I took care of her.
Very good point, Natalie. I forget about that myself.
Okay. So and you see, you being in the business and get it done. Okay, and then where you really begin to make money is, and I think all of you that are on this call are here because you want to make some money, is the next subject, which is how to find other IBAs. So Duncan, what do you do first with your people?
Okay, well, the first thing, as with gathering customers, is doing a list. That is the most important thing. A list of everybody else that you know or have ever known in your life. The biggest problem here, and this is where I think you have to work with people and explain to them that it's not a list of who they think might not be interested in this business. It is literally emptying your mind out on the table and just putting down names. And names of anybody of your family, friends, people you've worked with, people you went to school with, people you went to college with, university with, people you know now and have known in the past, people you went on holiday with, and even people that you can't remember, maybe their first name, maybe you might be able to remember their surname, maybe you might not even remember their name, but you remember meeting them on holiday and you can't remember the name. Just put the person I met on the plane going to Spain or whatever. And what will happen is you will remember that person at some point. You just got to empty your mind out on the table. The longer that list is, the better. The reason why I say that is because if people have a very short list, and as an example, if they get a few rejections in the beginning, the longer that list is, the more likely they are not going to think that they're going to be dropping out of this business. So what I tend to do then, as soon as they've done that list, I will ask the person to give me the best 10 or 20 people